What is the most important item in Minecraft speedruns? There's the obvious answers like a pickaxe or eyes of ender because, well, duh. But come on, that's boring. You see, the most important item in a speedrun is this. Wait, hold on. This. It's not exactly what most people's minds would immediately go to, but let me explain. What makes a boat so helpful? On the surface, they may seem relatively simple, but dive a little deeper and we can understand what these floating vessels are capable of. Obviously, you can use it to traverse the seas, but that's actually its least important ability. You see, boats have a unique property where they can actually negate all fall damage. This is massively helpful for navigating terrain. Some of you may say that a water bucket does the same, so what's so special about a boat? Well, speedruns spend most of the time in the nether, and water buckets don't exactly work there. You know what does work there? Boats. But fair warning, there are some times that boats just don't work. I've mentioned this previously, so I won't get into it here, but just know that if you exit a boat right before it hits the ground, you'll be fine. In a similar vein, boats can be used to extend jumps. By placing a boat across a gap mid-air, you can enter it and extend your jump by a huge amount. But all of this is still pretty basic knowledge. Let's go a layer deeper. As you may know, boats are also able to pick up other mobs. This allows players to easily transport difficult to work with mobs where they see fit. I'm sure if you've ever played survival, you've used this a ton. But how does this relate to a speedrun? Let's take a look into the world of all advancements, or AA for short. This little mechanic opens the door to a whole lot of tech. As an example, shulker yeet. In AA, runners need to bring a shulker into the overworld. The problem is that shulkers only exist in end cities and need to be brought through an end gateway. Sometimes these are far away and would be pretty difficult to get a shulker through. Well, boat. Simply put a shulker in a boat, attach a fishing rod, fly away, and send that thing straight into the atmosphere. We see AA runners do this all the time. Boats aren't limited to yeeting entities, by the way. Sniper duel is an advancement that requires a player to kill a skeleton with an arrow at least 50 blocks away. This would be a lot easier if these things just stood still for a bit. Another advancement is 2 birds, 1 arrow. It requires a player to kill 2 phantoms in one shot. Boats are once again helping by trapping the phantoms in one area. In short, boats do a lot more stuff than just drifting around at sea. But I wouldn't be making this video if that's all I had to talk about. Let's get a little more technical. What if I told you the best part of a boat was getting out of it? The simple action of pressing crouch to exit a boat has many implications in speedruns. Let's say you need to dig through a wall in the nether. Boats are weird in the fact that they're shorter than a block. This allows you to get into crevices you aren't normally able to access. Simply roll yourself in, hop out, and start crawling around. But if we're being honest, this is really slow and kind of sucks. If only this could be faster. It's faster. Have you ever noticed that you're able to sprint while on a boat despite not moving faster? You can tell based off the FOV change. This can lead to some pretty interesting stuff. Check this out for example. By sprinting in a boat then tapping crouch, I'm able to sprint left, right, backwards, and even while standing still. This video by Hepe describes it in great detail, but in short, there was a bug where players were unable to swim while in a crouch state. To patch this, Mojang decided to let people be in the crouch and sprint state at the same time. And as you can see, runners have taken advantage of this by entering the sprint state in a boat, getting out of it, and retaining the sprint while in a crawl. This gives speedrunners an answer to giant walls in netherrack and adds another tool to navigate difficult terrain. This sprint bug can even help you with bridging. Let me paint you a scenario. You're a former Minecraft world record holder, and after giving an honest attempt at achieving faster and faster runs, you move on to a different category known as no reset, which means you play every single seed to its completion no matter what. Oh, and also pretend that you're 5'2". Anyways, speed bridging could be a little risky. I mean, nobody's perfect and you can't hit every single speed bridge until the day you die. A safer alternative can be accomplished by sprinting diagonally backwards using this boat sprint. Curryway uses this all the time as a slightly slower but 100% safe speed bridge. Finally, I think it's time to get even more technical. How do speedrunners find the stronghold? Well, those of you who aren't in tune with current day runs may not realize that players are able to find the exact location of the stronghold with a singular eye throw. This is done with the help of a calculator known as Ninja Brain Bot. Because eyes of enders point to 8-8 in the chunk the stronghold staircase is, the calculator will draw a line that eventually intersects with this point. However, even with this, there's just too many variables to be 100% sure where the stronghold is with just one eye throw. You would need to have an even preciser angle than what's shown on the F3 screen. I'm sure you know where this is going. Boat eye is a technique that makes one-eye triangulation much more consistent. How does it work? Well, when you get into a boat, your angle gets set to a multiple of 360 over 256, which, combined with a very specific sensitivity value runners have beforehand, can give the calculator an even more precise angle than just the 2 decimal places that F3 plus C does. By entering and exiting a boat, using F3 and C to set a boat eye, then measuring your eye to the pixel, you can find the stronghold with just one eye of ender. Now, I've tried to explain this in a previous video, and to put it shortly, I was incredibly wrong. But I guess that's what happens when you believe what Curryway randomly said on stream one time. Damn, Curry's catching a lot of strays in this video. So if this explanation is incorrect, blame Priffin. I actually have one more thing to mention, but it's quick. Speedrunners also use boats in set seed speedruns as well, especially MCSR ranked weekly races. Using beds is too slow for runs that try to push the absolute limit. One shot is much quicker. To keep it brief, using a setup like this, runners can take all the velocity from the dragon without moving, shoot the arrow with the stacked velocity, and deal enough damage to instantly kill it. Technically, you can do this with a pearl as well, but that's not the title of the video. Well, I've made my case. Boats, in my eyes, are the most important, non-essential item for speedruns. The versatility and potential these things have is just insane. Do you agree with me? If you don't, you're wrong. Anyways, that's all I got for today. See ya! Could y'all do me a favor and subscribe? You made it all the way to the end, so it seems like you at least kind of enjoyed my stuff. At this point, I barely post videos, so it's not like I'll clutter up your sub page, and whenever I do post, I promise it's quality stuff, so maybe just consider it. Well, back to the void for me. See ya in another 5 months.